Pepper PM within 5 minutes.
See, at the moment there's nothing major out there that's attracting her attention or grabbing her attention. That tail tip is lying there, no movement, no twitching. Nonetheless, she's still listening. Just quickly, for those of you maybe that haven't joined us as often, or that are only getting into African wildlife more recently, leopards are solitary animals, so typically you'll always see a leopard by itself. Big males almost certainly by themselves. Females either by themselves or with youngsters. The specific leopard we're looking at the moment is a female we call Karula. And she is a very, very beautiful leopard. She's around quite often in our area that we can traverse in. And she's also got two youngsters. So occasionally we're lucky enough to see her with two other leopard, two young female cubs or juveniles now. They're just over a year old. But again, most of the time we actually see her by herself. It's only when she kills something substantial enough that she'll go and fetch those youngsters and then share the food with them. Only then that we really see all of them together. Both of those youngsters are still well. We saw them, we had a magic afternoon with them a while back. And they were playing with each other. Morning actually, so it wasn't sort of late morning. But typically speaking, when you see leopard, it'll be like this, by themselves. Quite often you're lucky enough to find them around waterholes like this, or otherwise just out patrolling either their territory. Both male and female leopard are territorial, but not one male and one female relative to the same area. So there's a great overlapping of territories, and there's also sort of almost like home range behavior. So there will be areas where two females' territories might slightly overlap as well on the sort of the fringes of the area. But typically they keep those areas, in the case of females, to have access or to protect their resources. So in Karula's case, the territory that she's got quite a few waterholes, lots of good food in it, lots of things that she can catch. So that's why she keeps it. And in the case of males, typically the territorial males try and keep an area as large as possible to have access to females. So slightly different motivation behind the territorial behaviors. I just love those eyes, whenever they look at you, can't help but feel a little stirring in your heart. In a way, I'm so willing her to move along just so we can follow her some more. Not that I'm complaining, I can look at this for a long time and not be bored. Also looking forward to this winter. Again, just coming back to Karula and her cubs. Those two young females I mentioned, her offspring. Excuse me. They, as they get bigger and bigger now, obviously they're getting more confident themselves. They're getting more aware and wiser to the world. So when she does leave them, they don't need to hide away like they used to when they were small. So I find as they get bigger, they quite often stay around waterholes. So in winter, it's not impossible that we could find 2-3 days in a row. We'll have those two youngsters here around Treehouse Dam, for instance. And you can get them playing and stalking and practicing hunting techniques and all kinds of active behavior. And again, with the way it's looking at the moment, come winter time, there's not going to be that many waterholes in the general sort of area that Karula covers. So it means we should have a chance of seeing those youngsters a bit more as well. We haven't seen them that often the last few months. Guys, just while we're looking at this, James is going to just attach the infrared camera as well, just so that as it gets darker and darker out here, obviously we're going to stick with her, so we can hopefully see when it does get dark. So if there's a bit of movement, a bit of stirring in the camera, that's what is happening. Getting very dark out here. Once again, James is pushing everything to the limit with his camera, but I still see alright. I'm just going to put a bit of spotlight on there. See if that helps a little bit. Oh. Okay, she's just seen something, which means I'm going to take the light off her, because we don't want to give her position away to whatever she might have seen, but just look at how that shape suddenly changes. Such a lethal, athletic shape. They're very, very quick, very agile cats as well. Wonder what she's heard. Bit more grooming. Your hand, James, you're right. Yeah, I'm just going to put a bit of light on there again. It's just a little bit of light to help us see better. I'm not putting it on her actually, I'm just reflecting it off the water here. You can see it's just catching the top of her head there. Actually see the movement of the water as well on her face. James is busy attaching that camera, so excuse the movement.